Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Cane Corso. So, wanted to do a little bit of a different video today, actually more old school like I used to do, and a little bit of a warning rant moment. And you can help me join, or you can join me while I train this little hooligan. This is Vader, formerly Zool. I didn't like the name Zool. Preacher's son. He likes to run off. If you ever watch my other channel, Life of Senza, when I bring him out here, he takes off. So now he's on leash. He don't get no freedom. So let's talk. I've been wanting to talk about this, and I've not really known the best way to go about doing it. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that oftentimes when people try to speak out, especially women, I'm just going to be honest with you. I am by no means a feminist. Don't care if you are, but I'm not. But I do, regardless of that, it doesn't, just because I am not a feminist does not mean that I don't recognize and see that there can be differences in the way that we view and judge each other's behavior when there is a difference in gender. And I think that oftentimes women get blamed for being dramatic or being prone to drama whenever they speak up about things. And like one time I spoke up about a breeder claiming that he had the rarest dog in the world. And this is a breeder that is literally well known in my community, in the breeding community, as a puppy mill, like a legit real life, like the Amish type puppy mills, and has been for a very long time. And I got people who attacked me over it. People who literally stopped following me and started following that person because they thought I was just being, dramatic, a hater. Maybe they thought I was jealous, whatever. And then later on, they actually came and apologized to me because they started following them. And then they started asking questions, like legit questions that you would normally ask a breeder, like, hey, do you health test your dogs? And dude literally would block them. And he was exactly who I said. And then of course they want to come and apologize. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. If you ever unfollow me over some stupid stuff like that, and then you come to apologize to me, I will not talk to you. Do not expect me to talk back to you because you're an idiot. And I don't have the time for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're that wishy-washy that you would flip and follow somebody else just because, you over something like that, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't need it. It's like a fair weather follower, fair weather friends, like a fair weather follower. I have no interest in it. And the reason why is because I go so far and above what other breeders do that that's why I have no patience for it. You know what I mean? Like, I've already went above and beyond to earn your trust, the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? And so if somebody who's done none of that can earn your loyalty that fast, I don't want you around. You know what I mean? I don't like people like that. Sorry, Frankie's out there just absolutely throwing a fit, but she's having a blast. So He's having a blast. Good Lord. I always get my birds' genders confused. But anyway, nonetheless. So I'm going to speak out though. I'm going to say it. And I want to clear up something first of all, because this is something I've heard people say, is that don't trust me because I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just on social media. I'm blah, 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 right? And there is truth to that. You should not trust somebody just because they're on YouTube. I can't tell you how many times people come to me talking to me about people that they think know a lot. And I'm like, why? Why do you think this person knows a lot? Well, they have a Corso. Okay, they have one Corso. What is that? How does that make you an expert? You know what I mean? In the breed. And so, or maybe they have a couple Corso, but they're not breeders. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, experience matters. And a lot of people that are talking don't have experience. Now, this is where I will say is the difference, okay? Is you need to look at how a person came to fame. That's where the truth lies, okay? More often than not, that's where the truth lies. And then combine that with their past experience, all right? So, for example, there's a trainer that I really like on YouTube, and I hope he does, he's growing, and I hope he does really well. It's Beckman's Dog Training. Really great. I think he used to train with orcas. Very practical, head on his shoulders. Like, I enjoy watching the content. It's refreshing. Deserves all the fame in the world. He started a YouTube, on purpose, obviously, started it for his company, and I hope he does well because his experience speaks for him, okay? I did not get on YouTube to become famous or to become popular. I got on YouTube to film my dogs the way that all dog breeders do, because almost all Corso breeders have a YouTube. And people have in the past uploaded, and none of those videos ever went viral. I have multiple channels right now that have never gone viral. Fish, I've got the typical YouTube, you know, and especially people that are my age, whenever YouTube was new and we were all using it, and you're just uploading funny cat videos and whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's the side of YouTube that I came from. I do not come from the side of the creator side, the YouTubers scene. That was not the way that I viewed YouTube until, I would say about maybe a year or two before my videos went viral. I had started watching YouTube in that way. I had started with makeup tutorials. And then I got on to some other stuff. I was, watching some other stuff. So it's not that it had never occurred to me, but I had been a long-term user of YouTube before that. And therefore, really, like, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of like one of those magical things, like how people become, famous actors or something. It just seemed kind of like it just happened to people, that it wasn't something that just everybody had access to. But it did. It happened for some videos that I posted where I was not on there trying to teach people about, anything really. I mean, I will say my second video, the one that went the most viral but the first one that went viral was Preacher barking in the backyard. It was just a very quick, simple little video of Preacher barking in the backyard. No reason it should have went viral. I'm just going to be honest. Like, it was nice. It was pretty. I do like watching it every now and then. It's nice 4K, and Preacher sounded really nice, like a big old V8 engine, not gonna lie. So I get it to some degree, but there's been plenty of people who have criticized my rise in that way and just saying it's stupid, and I get it. You know what I mean? I'm not here to try to make sense of it either, but it happened. And it just happened to me. That's the difference, right? It wasn't something I was seeking. I wasn't in front of your face. This is this, and these are the 5 points about Corso, and this is blah, blah, blah. That was not my intention. It just happened. And then I tried to make the most of it. But what I do have is years of experience. Not in this breed, because at that time I had actually only been in the breed for 2 years as far as ownership. Obviously had been researching, waiting on a dog for longer than that. But nonetheless, I by no means was an expert. I was very much a novice in this breed. However, what I was not a novice in, and what made me popular, was my ability to read, interpret, and predict canine behavior. That is something that I've had since a child, because I grew up around dogs. I was in foster care and I got picked on a lot, and all I had, put that down. All I had was my was my dogs. And I just spent a lot of time with my dogs, and I loved them, and I just learned body language, canine body language. Stayed to myself, and that's just kind of what I did. And then, of course, later on, I was breeding, and I was breeding pit bulls, and then I was training dogs after that. And so I have years, the majority of my life I've spent around dogs with behavior. When I had my pit bulls, I did have them very much in a pack setting like this. So I got very good at reading body language. And I'll tell you what, like when it comes to languages, you know, some languages are harder to learn than others. Well, the language of pit bulls is extremely hard because it's still canine body language, but they are very quiet. There's not a lot of warnings, like a lot, you know, a lot of, they'll talk about with a lot of animals before they fight, there's a lot of bluffing that goes on, bluff charge, things like that. There's a lot of posturing that goes on. With pit bulls, there's really not much. Okay. And that's why people always say he snapped out of nowhere. It never is out of nowhere. It's just that you missed it. It was probably quiet and usually fixation. So a very direct stare, very stillness in the body, and you just missed it. And sometimes that's all you get with some dogs. And in particular, pit bulls can be very much like that. And so because I learned with them, everything else is kind of very easy, just going to be honest. Like when you learn from a breed that has very quiet body language and is very sensitive to disrespect, you learn very quickly. And so when I speak about whether or not you should trust a person's opinion, it's based upon those two things of what are their intentions on social media and what is their background. And there have been there's a rise in these kind of armchair people who, because it's the internet and everybody gets to have an opinion now, and your opinion gets to be seen by everybody, and now fame is closer than it's ever been, right? TikTok is a great example of that. And so people are desperate for fame. Now, I get a lot of hate because I have a name. And so if you want to make a name for yourself, it starts by attacking somebody who has a name, because nobody's going to listen to you if you're attacking somebody that nobody cares about. But if you're attacking somebody that people know about, then you might get some clicks. You know, somebody might actually look and see what you're saying. So a lot of it is just selfishness on their part of trying to get popular. And it happens a lot to me. It even happens with people trying to buy dogs from me to then use that dog to catapult themselves. So it is a real thing that happens. It's a real phenomena that is happening, and something that I've had to kind of learn to adjust to in regards to who I sell my dogs to and things like that. But this is more involved with people who want to judge breeders and their dog structure and temperament and things like that in their breeding programs. That is one area where we have these new wannabe experts, these people who've never bred a litter in their life, or maybe they have, but they haven't accomplished much. And they want to get on and they want to talk about somebody, you know, or try to, you know, make a name for themselves. And that is really, I would say that that's overall kind of harmless. The worst thing that I've seen popping up now are TikTok trainers. I've got one of my buyers who's got one of my dogs that she's done it with, and it's very, very, very dangerous. And one of the biggest things that I've seen them doing lately is purchasing dogs that are not for them. So you'll have a person who is positive only, no, you know, force free, like a very soft spoken, sweet person. Well, I wouldn't say they're sweet. I say they are weak. That's what I'll say. They're weak, because I used to think those people were just sweet, but honestly, they're not all sweet people. Actually, some of them are downright really horrible people. And but one of the things that they do is they will buy a Corso or a Shepherd, like a Malinois, and they'll make videos on YouTube talking about their reactive dog or their fearful dog, right? Because these breeds, a lot of these guardian protection breeds, they go through these natural fear stages as they're growing. And it's very normal. It's nothing wrong. It's just, it is the result of a very intelligent puppy that is a guardian breed. So basically what happens is they kind of wake up, right? And because you have to understand there's a difference between a Labrador who does not see people as a threat unless they really actively, like even a Labrador can, show protective instincts, but it's typically, it's not easy to find because they don't really have those traits. They've been bred for a long time to see people as friends. Because as you can imagine, when you're trying to domesticate a wolf, you wanted to make them as docile as possible with people. And so it makes sense that that's something they were bred for. But over time, we developed our guardian breeds, our protection breeds. And those dogs have something different where their brains tell them that people can be dangerous. Okay? And that element, that trick of the brain, it turns on when they're still puppies that are unable to do anything. And so what that creates is a puppy that can be afraid of its surroundings, of people. And that's where socialization comes in. You go out, you socialize them, and you show them to people, and you show them the world so that they get a baseline of what is natural, what is normal, what is safe, and what is not normal and dangerous. And what you do is, over time, you develop a dog that becomes completely accustomed to the way that humans are and the way that their surroundings are. May it be the city, the country, whatever. And those dogs are very balanced, very safe, healthy dogs that still have fantastic guardian protection instinct. Just because you socialize your dog does not mean that that dog is going to be at risk of being too soft, too nice, too accepting, or even being able to be stolen. Now, what I've seen are these TikTok trainers, and the way you know them, they almost all have a collection of collars because they don't know how to use any of them. So they'll have a chain link or a chain, like a choke collar. They'll have a prong collar. They'll have a slip lead. They'll have a regular collar, like a nylon, just a regular collar. And then another big thing is they almost all have a do not pet on their dogs. And they'll say it's because their dog is reactive or their dog is whatever, or blah, 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 which really just means that you bought a dog that you couldn't raise properly, you couldn't socialize, and so your dog is unsafe to interact with people. Therefore, you have to have a sign on it that says do not pet. They make excuses. Well, my dog is this. And I see these videos of these people, the sad music with like, I wish I could have my Malinois off leash. But my Malinois is reactive, and this is the reality of owning a reactive breed. And it's like, no, you dimwit. That is a Malinois. It's doing what it was bred to do. It's a high energy, it's a turbocharged working dog, protection dog, okay? A dog that not only will guard you, but you can literally send it out to track down and take someone out for you, okay? It is not really a pet. It is not for you and your little beach TikTok videos. And you're ruining people's interpretation, not just of that breed, but of dogs in general. Because basically what you're doing is you're assigning like mental illness, like problems in your dog because you bought a dog that was bred for a job that you can't do, that you're not going to do. And so you have this maniac at the end of your leash who's jonesing to go do something while you're sitting here lollying around making some silly TikTok video for sympathy. And you get hundreds of thousands of likes on your post because people are like, oh, wow, this person really understands what it's like. They really understand what it's like to have a Malinois. And look how responsible they are with their dog on a leash and blah, 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 blah. It's just pathetic. And it's damaging. The individual that has the dog for me, same story, and is always posting about how the dog is, reactive and fearful and aloof and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, because you've literally taught this dog. See, what you've done, right, is you've reinforced their fear, okay? Let's say, for example, that you take a child to a lake and that child is scared of the water and is like, oh, no, I don't want to touch that water. I don't want to touch that water. And so you go and you're like, you know what? You don't ever have to touch that water. It's okay. It's okay. Don't you ever worry about that water. And so then you never swim. You're forever afraid of water. You see what I'm saying? If a dog has a fear of people, which it should if it's a guardian breed, because they're a guardian breed for a reason. They are hardwired to see people as a potential threat. It's your job to teach them when someone is being threatening and when they're not, which is why you should socialize your dog if you plan to take it off your property. Or if you plan on dying anytime soon and that dog may need to be rehomed, you know, whatever. And so this individual is affirming this dog's fear and then going online and acting like the dog has an issue. Because A, she doesn't understand the breed. B, she doesn't know how to train dogs. She doesn't know about dog psychology. I don't know why they bought a dog from me, of all people. It's not like I've ever been quiet about how to train these dogs or what they're like. I don't know why. I guess the only reason why is for attention. That's the only reason why. Why would you buy from a breeder who trains in a way that you don't believe in? Right? You don't believe in it. Positive only. Well, I will say they do have a shock collar. Yeah, that's another thing. A shock collar, literally every form of canine management that they have to offer, this person has on this dog's neck. And then when I was, you know, talking about it and they wanted to argue with me about it. And she even said that they have a team of people working with this dog. If you need a team of people to work on a dog, then none of them know what they're doing. It takes one person, one knowledgeable person to train you and your dog. There's no excuse for needing a team of people to work with a dog. That's absolute ridiculousness. And you should not need to use a collar for an extended period of time when it's for training and not like barking purposes. I understand if you want to take a dominant, aggressive breed to a dog park without having it like attack somebody, like if you need something like that, or if you have a breed that is prone to like running off, so like a sight hound that could just take off. Like there are instances where the breed behavior will overpower in such a way that you might need a remote collar, but I promise you a Corso is not one of them. And and whenever I told her that the dog's father, you know, I only had to use a collar on that dog like 2 times, and that dog, like over 2 days, that dog was over it. He knew right then and there, all right, I get it. And he was done. It was Batista. He's done. I don't have to use Batista comes when he's called now. I don't have to use a collar on him anymore. He doesn't ignore me anymore. 2 times, 2 days with a collar, and it was done. 1 day, the first day. Then I did a video. I had it on him on the video. At first, he didn't listen to me. I got him with a collar on video. And then and oh my God, so many people threw it. If you can't get a dog to listen to you without using a collar, one dog, the only dog I've ever had to use a collar on for that. And they just, oh my God, they threw a tantrum. But nonetheless, you know, it's me. But this is what I'm going to say, is that these people are very dangerous, because if they start to change the public's view of these dogs as any dog that has that being problematic, you will lose the guardian instinct in your breeds. All of them will basically be like Labradors. You will literally breed them into Labradors. That's what you'll do. There's a difference between a skittish, fearful dog and a puppy that's going through the growing pains of maturity and of learning their place in the world. And hey, where you going, Berlin? Good boy. And also beware of anybody who's talking about the alpha theory being debunked. And all those people haven't read the study. Go and read it for yourself. He flat out says that he's not saying that there are not social hierarchies. It's another really big issue going on right now. These are all very dangerous things because they lead, come on, you guys. We've already lost our ability for the most part to interpret canine behavior. And while I understand that people want to learn about dog training and they want to watch stuff, really and truly, TikTok probably isn't even the place to do it. It's too short form. You know what I mean? It does not give you a realistic view of dog training. You know, there's this other one that I commented on. It's hard to know exactly what's going on, but from my understanding from the comments, because the creator commented back, is that Berlin, no sir. Get your butt back over here now. What are you doing? Come on, let's go. Good boy. Hey, good boy. This is a good baby Berlin. This is a good baby Berlin. And so, so basically, the trainer is holding on to the dog. The owner is filming the TikTok, which is sus already. And then there's a woman walking up the street with another dog, and they're like walking up to them when they're in training, and they're doing this no, and it's like the cussing and blah blah blah. And the shepherd, which is the one that's supposed to be being trained, is just very reactive. He's trying to go after, he's being a shepherd that's not been trained properly, not been managed. Berlin, don't you do it. And I'm looking at this like, wow, they're failing the dog. The person holding the leash is doing nothing other than moving the dog away. And she's just moving the dog away. She's literally walking up into someone's driveway. She makes no attempt to actually correct the dog. You see, that would have been the perfect situation. When you're trying to train a behavior out of a dog, Nirvana, back over here. Now, when you're trying to train a behavior out of a dog, you actually need to do things to trigger that behavior so that you can address the problem. So it would have been a fantastic opportunity to work with that dog, but instead they saw it as like a problem, as like, no, don't come here, blah, blah, blah. And she moves out of the way and she has this really annoyed look on her face while she's doing nothing to correct the dog's behavior. And so I make a comment that was basically like, which I firmly believe that we could not domesticate the wolf today. The people alive today could not do it. Some of us could, but most people could not. Especially most people in the dog community couldn't. There's probably a lot more owners that could than people that are actually active in the dog community. Anyway, I comment that, both people were in the wrong. Nirvana, no ma'am, back over here now. Turn it around, let's go. Back up here. Nirvana, come on, let's go. Woman. That's a good girl. All the way in. I know you're bored and I'll finish up in a minute. And so, anyway, she keeps making excuses. She's, blah, 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 whatever, this and that. Same thing. Dog had a bunch of collars on, harness on. Just these people don't know what they're doing. They're making content for you. It's no different than those of you may remember that show, It's Me or the Dog, I believe it was, with that, I forget her name, Victoria Stilwell. And she was just an actress. And she really tried to go very far into dog training and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that she was an actress that had very little, I think she was a dog walker at one point. And she was just hired as a face. And I think there's a lot of TikTok trainers that are like that. And they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. Their ideologies are dangerous. Their behavior is dangerous because those dogs, like that shepherd, is a dangerous dog. If he would have gotten a hold of another dog, it would have been a very bad thing. And oftentimes shepherds can be prone to what is called handler aggression, which means that if they get too amped up, they will actually come up the leash at their owners. And so you really need to be firm and you need to be consistent and you need to know what you're doing. And there's just way too many people that don't know what they're doing. And a lot of people that work with dogs that know how to handle dogs, they don't care about TikTok. They don't care about fame. They don't care about any of that. They just want to work some dogs. And so you're not going to see them. And that's the sad part, is that you're not going to see those people because a lot of them, it's just nonsense. They don't want to be bothered by it. They're working too hard to even deal with it anyway, to even learn the technology. It's a lot of them, it's foolishness, And I want you guys to be really, really careful out there. Stop just following people just because they have a pretty dog or because they act like they know what they're doing. Stop that. Actually do some research and see if see if they can handle their dogs. See if they can practice what they preach. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of people criticize the way that I handle my dogs, but you know what? I don't see anybody else out there with a pack of Corsos getting along. You know what I mean? So, you see what I'm saying? You can criticize, but if you can't replicate what I'm doing, then you need to just sit back down. You know what I mean? And so, and it needs to be that you guys need to start critical thinking. You need to be aware of that. Be intelligent watchers. You know what I mean? Don't just watch something and be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Like, check out the history and what they're doing and see if it works. You know what I mean? But what I can tell you is there's a guy, I saw him work with an Akita, and he was getting all kinds of hate. But he had that Akita acting right. It was doing the same thing that Shepherd was doing. He had that Akita acting right in less than 5 minutes. I mean, it was so fast, right? Because it is. That's the sad thing, is that Shepherd should have been brought under control in literal minutes, if that. With the right equipment, that dog would have been brought under control very quickly. That fit would have been over. But that's not good content, is it? Not so entertaining. Song wouldn't have fit on it on TikTok, I guess. But the guy with the Akita gets it done. It's over. It's not pretty. It's not meant to be. You know what I mean? It's like, would you ever want to watch a show about disciplining children? I mean, yeah, we had that nanny show or whatever, but I mean, really, it didn't even do very big. Like, I mean, really and truly, you want to watch a TikTok about people telling their children to go to their room or whatever? You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be entertaining. It's discipline. It's regular stuff. It's life. It's not supposed to be pretty, and it's not supposed to be something that, you know, unless you're trying to learn for educational purposes, it is not supposed to be entertaining. And so not in that way, not in an exciting way. You know what I mean? It should actually be, you know, somewhat boring in a way. I mean, you know, to some degree. I mean, I will say that Cesar Millan, I mean, that was entertaining. I mean, but there's, you know, people that have said that stuff went on behind the scenes that you didn't see, like training and stuff, whatever. I don't know, but I will tell you that, I mean, not everybody liked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, it's not always easy to watch. You know, sometimes it's, oi, psst, woman, Nirvana. And, it's kind of like people getting to fame, like getting on, like trying to become popular off their children. And people have seen the corruption involving that. People are doing it with their dogs too. And in fact, I have a buyer of mine that I believe has that Munchausen syndrome thing. She has a dog in the hospital or sick probably every 6 months. She's had no less than 2 dogs break bones, break their limbs, legs, I believe. 2 dogs break limbs. 1 dog that she knew was going to have issues with its, I sold her a dog that it got an infection. It was a parvo puppy that had survived, and I gave it to her for free. And we knew that the dog was going to have orthopedic issues because infection had gotten into the elbow of the dog, and she knew this. It was her dog. I don't think it was the elbow. I think it was the shoulder. Anyway, she knew this. I have emails from her that she knew this, but then she runs the dog. She jumps the dog. She does all the stuff with the dog from a very young age, takes the dogs on these walks, even though the dog was already disabled from literally, 9 weeks old, and then goes around complaining that the dog has double elbow dysplasia, and because now her other elbow, because it's called a sympathy injury. When you have a disability in one leg, you overcompensate with the other, which breaks it down faster. It's common knowledge. But anyway, she's always got sick dogs. Recently, she had 1 dog went in. I think it was for kidney failure or liver failure. I can't remember. And then not even 6 months. I think a month later, her other dog goes in for it, and it literally. And she always has GoFundMe's up. And so if you ever research this woman, I don't feel like, I'm not saying her name because honestly, I don't think that, sometimes it's not about the message, it's who the messenger is, and I'm not the right messenger. I'm too close to it. People would think that I'm biased, but if anybody knows who this person is and wants to do the research, go through and investigate all of her posts. Every single time she's had a dog sick, anytime she's ever had a dog get injured, there should be an investigation into her vet records for sure. I think somebody from Humane Society or something like that should investigate her vet records because everything is under her name to see everything that's ever happened. Because she also was fostering for a while there was a foster that quit fostering to her when I knew her because she had a dog that broke its leg in her care. And so, anyway, and she does it for TikTok fame, for internet fame. She's all over TikTok. She's all over Instagram. She's constantly trying to get views, constantly trying to go viral. And people just don't realize how desperate people can be. And so if you are not looking around on social media and investigating, go down. I challenge you, go to your favorite creator, go down and look at their oldest videos. That'll tell you a lot about a person. And, it'll tell you how hard they struggled to get where they are, or if they struggle at all. And because if it just happened to them, then all right, obviously motives are good there. You know what I mean? It just happened to them, or maybe, maybe they're not, but it just got lucky. But overall, I have found that when it just happens to people, I have found they're usually, pretty decent people. But if a person was doing lots of other different video content, doing really offensive titles, trying to get attention, clickbaity, you know what I mean? Then their motive is to get famous on TikTok or on, YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And then you have to question their motives, because now you know what their real motive is. The real motive is fame. My real motive was teaching people about canine body language. You know how much bigger my channel would be if I stopped training my dogs the way that I do and started treat training and never did submissive potch. I already have a pretty big following. You think that it wouldn't grow beyond that? You think that there aren't sponsors that probably don't want to work with me because of the way that I allow my dogs to be with each other? But I do it because I know it's the right thing. There's my motive. Do you see what I'm saying? So think, people, think. Question people. Stop being so accepting, forgiving. I get it. I know that you want to trust people, but the world is not always like that, man. Be a critical thinker, because you could be promoting somebody who's doing real damage, and you don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to be a part of giving a person credibility who will only damage the breed that you love. So I hope this helps. I hope that this hits somebody, because I'm telling you, it's growing, it's a problem, and we've got to do something about it. Nirvana, you ready? You ready to go back to your babies? Yeah? Nirvana says it's time to go back. So anyway, well, I'll talk to y'all later. I hope you enjoyed this long form video. So, and anyway, I'll talk at you later. Bye.